Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
So let's start with the Ja 3, the graffiti, New York versus New York.
New York, yep.
That box is so
Yeah, that box is fresh. I'm actually happy to see a new box. Like, it's time.
Box
like,
is fresh.
The first and the second one with the same box. I see a
that.
different box now. So yeah,
And
that's fresh.
And the graffiti letter A looks cool. Yeah, they look
that's
cool.
Tight. I like that.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio. We're in FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle's right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope if you're a member of the Memphis Grizzlies, you got your passport up to date because the Grizz are heading to Europe for 2 games in January. Interesting development. We'll talk about it from every angle momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, around 20 minutes from now, Chris Vernon going to join me. He, of course, is the host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon, Grind City Media. He's with me on Wednesdays in the second segment. Today is Wednesday. We're going to have a second segment. Chris Vernon will be here for that. When I finish chopping it up with him, we're going to take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Memphis guard Sincere Parker was back in court yesterday. The CA's Jason Munz talked with his attorney. Interesting comments. I'll tell you what he said in about 40 minutes. City of Memphis is planning a $55 million AutoZone Park renovation and mixed-use development downtown. That's good news for folks who care about the Redbirds. I'll tell you more about that in just a bit. Brave star Ronald Acuna Jr., he's headed toward the IL with an Achilles soreness issue. That's not great for Atlanta's franchise or Atlanta's franchise player. We'll talk baseball a little later on in the show. Wild times in the WNBA last night. A green sex toy. I didn't throw it. A green sex toy was thrown onto the court down in College Park, Georgia. Seems inappropriate.
You think so, yeah.
Possibly funny to some, but in other ways, inappropriate. I'll see if Bennett wants to show it to you. We'll do that in the second hour. And Variety is reporting that Happy Gilmore 2 received 46.7 million views in its first 3 days of availability, making it the biggest U.S. opening weekend in Netflix history. Suck it, haters. Huge for Adam Sandler and for that streaming platform. I'll give you some more numbers during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because we got some big scheduling news. Bright and early this morning from the NBA, specifically that John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and their teammates are heading to Europe for a couple of games in January. On January 15th, it'll be the Grizz Magic inside Uber Arena in Berlin. I like the name of that arena. On January 18th, it's going to be Grizz Magic inside the O2. That's in London. Both contests going to be regular season games, which means this marks the first time in franchise history that the Grizzlies have been selected to play international regular season contest. It's a big opportunity, obviously, but let's be honest, some of the byproducts of this development are less than ideal. Before we get to that, Big Bet Bennett, your thoughts on Ja Jarrett and the rest of the Grizzlies heading to Europe for the first ever regular season game in Berlin, followed by another regular season game against the Magic in London just 3 days later.
I am stoked about this. I think this is really cool. When I saw the news, I was really excited. Just because the NBA doesn't really, they haven't, the NFL has obviously gotten into the international business. They play multiple international games every single year. NBA hasn't done this as much. I believe it's only 20-something all time that they've ever done in the regular season. So I think it's a really cool opportunity for the Grizzlies it's an opportunity to uplift one of the smallest markets in the NBA. It's an opportunity to get new eyeballs on one of the smallest markets in the NBA and potentially get new fans of one of the smallest markets in the NBA. So I think that's a really cool opportunity for the franchise. I'm excited about it.
A big opportunity, obviously. It puts your franchise on an international stage, puts your city on an international stage, also puts your stars, most notably, of course, Ja Morant, on an international stage. So the news breaks this morning, and I think most people, initially at least, had the same reaction as you. Oh, wow, this is neat. I'm excited. This is great. And then I was just sort of waiting around to see how long it would take some fans to connect the dots and realize that this obviously means two things specifically. And those two things are that, A, there will be no MLK Day game in Memphis this upcoming season, and B, there will not be a Desmond Bane return game in Memphis this season. I was wondering how long it's going to take people to figure out those two things, and I was more interested in the first rather than the second. And answer to that question was it didn't take very long at all. As everybody knows, MLK Day is a big day for the NBA and a big and important day in the city. Next year, it will be on Monday, January 19th. Presumably, the Grizzlies on that day will be flying. But either way, they definitely won't be playing. Not inside FedEx Forum, because they have a game against the Magic in London the day prior. And either way, no matter what's going on with them on January 19th, we now know that we definitely will not welcome Desmond Bane back to FedEx Forum this season unless it's in the NBA Finals, because he now plays for an Eastern Conference team. And Eastern Conference teams only play Western Conference teams twice each season, and both Grizz Magic's games in this upcoming season are going to take place in Europe. Now, I think obviously one of these developments is bigger than the other. So let's focus on that one. Big Bet Bennett, there will be no MLK Day game in Memphis this season for the first time since 2017, and for only the second time since the franchise moved from Vancouver to Memphis. I'm aware some people are upset about this. Do you, Bennett, understand that frustration?
Yeah, I mean, of course I understand the frustration. Like, I think I've been to almost every single MLK Day game since the Grizzlies got to Memphis. It's one of the highlights of the schedule release. It's one of the biggest days of the season every year. It's obviously a huge game. We'll be back next season, the franchise said. So that's good. I totally get the frustration from people. It's super unfortunate that it's breaking this way, with this scheduling. Anyone that's frustrated with it, I totally get it. I still think that this is a unique opportunity, and I think it's one that you can't pass up, because I don't know if you'd get it again. I think it's a one-off, it appears. Again, they said that the MLK, they're looking forward to having the MLK Day game back in 27, so take it for their word, and I'm excited about this opportunity for this specific season. Yeah,
I think that's largely where I am, though, like you, I clearly understand the frustration among some fans, and I'm not interested in trying to tell anybody
Me either.
how to feel, or that they're wrong to be upset if they are in fact upset. MLK Day is an important day in the city. The National Civil Rights Museum is among the most important things in this city. when the Grizzlies host a game downtown on that day, like they've done, again, every year except one since 2003, it shines a big light on both of those things. For a day or an afternoon at least, the eyes of the NBA focus on us and allow us to help tell Dr. King's story and celebrate his legacy. And that's not going to happen this upcoming season. Other things will happen around that day in this city. The franchise will still have events connected to the national holiday, and I'm certain we'll share details when they're available. But inarguably, we lose something by not having that game on that day here in downtown Memphis. And I'm not going to try to argue otherwise. If you're put off by this decision, I understand. And trust me when I tell you, basically everybody here understands on some level. But often in life, and even more so, I think, when it comes to big business, you have to make some tough decisions sometimes. And in the simplest of terms, that is what the franchise has done here. If it were possible this upcoming season to play 2 games in Europe and have a MLK Day game at FedEx Forum, rest assured that is what the Grizzlies would be doing. But my understanding, at least, is that doing both was not an option. You got to pick one or the other. And with all due respect, and though I do sincerely believe reasonable minds can disagree on this, I think if you have to pick between the two things here, going to Europe is the thing that can do the most in January 2026 for the city of Memphis, the Grizzlies franchise, and the organization stars, specifically John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. This is an obvious way to grow a franchise. It's an obvious way to get more eyeballs on your city. What's going to happen in January is, at least when you see the videos from outside of the arenas and outside of the hotels and in the streets, they're going to look a lot like the videos you've been seeing over the past couple of weeks of John Morant bouncing around the world. People are going to be excited to see him. People are going to push and shove each other to try to get close to him. He's going to sign a lot of autographs and take a lot of pictures. And there are going to be young people in Berlin and young people in London who get up close with the NBA product for the first time ever, and specifically with the Grizzlies for the first time ever, more specifically with John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and everybody else on that roster for the first time ever. And I can't tell you exactly who it's going to be, and I can't tell you exactly how it's going to happen, but I can promise you this is a story you will hear in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You will hear a story about a young person, or perhaps an old person, somebody who grew up in Germany, grew up in England, loved basketball, but, you know, that's something they play over there. In America, the NBA doesn't come here very often. In Germany's case, to date, not at all, at least in Berlin. But the NBA announced this, and you got tickets somehow. Dad got them for you, mom got them for you, big brother, big sister, however it happens. And you decide to wait outside of an arena or wait outside of a hotel or go to a game, and you get down on the court, and you're gonna see John Morant with your own eyeballs. He's gonna be close enough for you to touch him if you got really long arms. And you're gonna hear that turns somebody into a John Morant fan who otherwise wouldn't have cared that much about the Grizzlies. You're gonna hear about how that experience turned somebody into a Grizzlies fan who otherwise doesn't care about Memphis. And the story you're gonna hear someday, Pete Pranica hopefully will be the one telling it, is that those people are going to fly here. They're going to fly to Memphis to see their favorite team, to see their favorite player, to see the franchise or the people that they fell in love with when they were first exposed to the NBA in person, up close, either in Berlin or London. I don't want to overstate it. I'm not trying to tell you it's going to be 50,000 people or 50 million people, but it's going to be somebody. People will come to Memphis someday and visit, spend money here, and buy jerseys and wear them over there. All of that's going to happen it'll be a byproduct of this trip. It just will. It'll continue to grow the brand of John Morant. It'll grow the brand of Jaren Jackson Jr. It'll grow the brand of the Grizzlies, make it matter more in those places than it ever otherwise would. And it will help the city of Memphis as well. I'm not trying to argue that having the game here on MLK Day annually, for the most part, hasn't also helped grow the brand of the Grizzlies and put a spotlight on Memphis. It has, and it will, as you pointed out, continue to do so in years to come. We have done those games 22 times, and they have been special every single time. It is one of the things that when I am in town, and I'm not always, because it obviously correlates with college basketball season, and on Mondays in college basketball season, I'm typically doing the show and then flying straight to New York City. But when I am in town, it is something that I like to attend. When I'm in town, it's something that I'd like to take my boys to. I want them to feel that. I want them to understand the history of this place and Dr. King's legacy. And it's why they've been exposed to the Civil Rights Museum. It's why my wife and I talk to them about these things. I want them to know where they live. I want them to understand the history of this place. And this franchise and that museum and this city has done an incredible job for more than 2 decades of really highlighting Dr. King and hopefully also illustrating how far we've come as a community since that tragedy happened here. And we're going to get right back to it, is my understanding. But like I said earlier, sometimes in life, and especially in big business, you got to make hard decisions. And though I know not everybody agrees with this decision, to sacrifice at least 1 year of this to take the brand and the stars to Europe, I know everybody doesn't agree with this, and I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm just trying to help you understand why, in a world where sometimes you got to make tough decisions, this is a sensible decision to make. It is not one that every fan's going to sign off on. It is, honestly, I don't think one that everybody who works in this building would sign off on. But it is an understandable and sensible decision to make. A hard one, inarguably, but I think a sensible one. So the Grizzlies and the Magic will travel to Europe in January and continue to try to grow the brand of the NBA, but more specifically for our purposes, the brand of the Grizzlies, the brand of the city of Memphis, and the John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and whatever other player brand we can grow there. It's not an easy decision, but at least in these very specific set of circumstances, I understand it, and I think it's actually the right one. I'll ask Chris Vernon what he thinks next.
Let's check the over-under totals. Alabama, Georgia, and Texas all at 9.5. LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee at 8.5.
I love Ole Miss over the 8.5.
I think Ole Miss can win 9.
But Ole Miss, they're gonna, Ole Miss, they're gonna lose to Arkansas week 3.
But they could go 9-3. Like Ole Miss winning 10 games
they always
is always
pull some
like
crap like that.
Ole Miss winning 10 can seem a bit of a stretch, but they can win 9.
They're gonna lose at Kentucky week 2.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You ready? I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio.
Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Coach Thorpe, to his credit, also taught me, like, just simplify your game. Like, it doesn't have to be difficult. You don't have to do all the up and under stuff. Like, he always talks about getting to the second box. My biggest thing is just do what I can to make the right play. It doesn't, if it ends up in a shot, it does. If it ends up in a pass to an assist, it does. Shooting 72% is credit to, I guess the work I put in and my coach is helping me.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough Studio, FedEx Forum downtown Memphis, and on Wednesdays in the second segment, I'm joined by the host of the Chris Vernon Show. Here's Chris Vernon.
Yo.
Weekdays, noon, Grind City Media. He's here right now. Hey, Chris Vernon, how are you?
Here I am.
Big scheduling news this morning, bright and early.
Yeah.
Bright and early coming directly from the NBA. The Grizzlies and the Magic are headed to Europe, a game in Berlin, a game in London. Your thoughts?
My initial reaction was, wow, that is amazing. Getting to be on a global stage, I think, like everybody else. So I had heard that they may be playing a game in Europe, maybe, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, but that was the only details that I had heard. And then, obviously, the first thing I heard was that they were playing the Magic. Right. So my immediate reaction was, oh, man, like no Desmond Bain back. And then, obviously, by this morning, we find out that they are playing during the Martin Luther King Day game. And so, obviously, it causes some level of conflict with everybody, right? Yep. I mean, that's just the way it is. But I think, and I was listening to what you were saying, and there are two things that came to mind. The first is getting this opportunity to be on a global stage. The first thing that mattered to me, let me trace back.
Sure.
First thing that mattered to me was that it's a one-year deal. Right, like this is just for 1 year, and then they're going back, and that made it very clear in the press release, right? 2027, we're right back
intentionally, I'm certain,
the Martin Luther King Day game, because they knew that people would be upset about losing them. I mean, if I'm being fair, it's one of the first things we look for on the schedule. Right. Who's the MLK Day game? Because we know that's a day where we get a big stage. So, to me, I look at it and I go, all right, one of the reasons, outside of, obviously, the unbelievable job they do with the symposium and the Civil Rights Award recipients and everything else. And that day has been particularly special to me because, as I've mentioned many, many times on this show or on any of the shows, in 2010, you could probably count the number of Grizzlies games in 25 years, home games, that I've missed on two hands. One of which is January 18, 2010, which was the birth of my son.
Okay.
And so it is, and that is against the Phoenix Suns. And so that it has had extra meaning for 16 years or 15 years to me now. And obviously being part of the broadcast where we put on these different people that get the Civil Rights Awards and all these different things, it is undeniably an unbelievable day for the city, for the organization. But I will say that you are not trading off for a smaller stage.
Right.
You are given an unbelievable stage for your city, right? It would be the same for anybody from Memphis. The same way we root on when Craig Brewer gets a big Hollywood deal, right, or when Juicy J goes and 666 hits it big, whatever. Like, We're excited to put Memphis on the biggest stage possible. And there's no question, when you saw this morning and you see how much the NBA is going to get behind this and these games being global, that is a huge stage that can also shed an unbelievable light on the city. We'll see what they do in terms of planning things for Martin Luther King Day, and obviously they made it apparent that they want that to still be very special in spite of not having a game here that day. To me, it is a one-year thing. It is one of those things you cannot say no to the NBA.
That's right.
You can't. I mean, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, you can't. Is your option to say no?
Right. Right.
No, we do not want to be featured on a global stage. And the other thing,
it is possible, in fairness, that you could really push back if you wanted to, but that wouldn't make much sense to me.
And the dates suck. You wish it was different.
Yes.
There's no question. Everybody agrees with that.
Right.
Okay? The other thing I will say, and you jarred my memory on this too. You were talking about how, like, you're going to look up in 10 years, 15 years, whatever, right?
That's a real thing.
I'm literally sitting here because of it. If it would not have been, I grew up in two professional sports towns, and when the majority of my sports fandom came living in St. Louis, right? That we moved from New York to St. Louis when I was 8 years old. And that is a non-NBA market, and yet my entire life and career revolves around the NBA. And that would absolutely not have been true if it were not one game a year. My father would, and I think people in Memphis had a lot of the same experience. You would get one game a year, right? We would get one game a year in the preseason in St. Louis, and it was almost always whoever won the championship the year before, right? So in my childhood, it was Magic Johnson, and it was Larry Bird, and it was Michael Jordan, and it was the Bad Boy Pistons. And one time a year, my father would buy tickets, and we would go as a family to one NBA game. And that was enormous to me.
Yes.
Enormous. The games weren't on TV all the time, right? And
I don't have a lot of memories of watching Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. I don't personally have a lot of memories of that.
I also think about this quite a bit. When we were growing up, the biggest athlete in the world, and it wasn't even close, was Michael Jordan.
Of course.
Right? Then you had Bo Jackson, you had Mike Tyson, you had the Bash Brothers, right, when Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire were doing their things. You know, I even talked about it yesterday in reference to Ryan Sandberg and how big a deal baseball players were. And, like, every year you knew the same All-Stars, and that's how they were, like, synonymous with these different markets, right? And so when you think of Chicago, you think of Ryan Sandberg in many cases. Anyways, going to those games once a year, there's no question that it made me an NBA fan even more so than just Michael Jordan being the biggest athlete in the world. And I think that there are a lot of people that grew up, even in markets that weren't NBA markets, and certainly in my case, this was the case, because Michael Jordan was by far the biggest athlete, and your mom was driving you to the gas station to try to buy citrus cooler Gatorade because he wore them, and you wanted the new Jordans when they come out and all that other stuff. I absolutely believe. I look around and I go to Summer League, or I have a lot of my friends that are either working for the Ringer or working for these other places, and there are an inordinate amount in my age range that are all like covering and loving the NBA. Right? That is absolutely not true in the other sports. You know, like in college basketball, there's like 3 of you guys, right? In college football, there's a handful of those guys, right? In baseball, there's virtually like none that you know of, right? That are like our age guys that are the big baseball guys. There's like 2, right?
Jeff Passan.
Same with the NFL, honestly, right? There ain't that many. So how did all of these guys that are in my age range become NBA fans? Michael Jordan, right? And it was the dream team, and it was getting on a global stage and whatever else. And so I don't discount the effect that can have.
Right.
I think that is, and you may not care that a kid in Germany or a kid in England or whoever likes the NBA, but whatever. But I can only tell you as someone, and I have seen a ton of international fans respond to this and how excited they are about this. Like, you only get one chance if you're there. Right. And I will tell you, just from hosting the mismatch, if you were to go look at our analytics, it is unbelievable how many people
From
around the world listen.
Right.
No, London, Australia. Like, one time, about 3 years ago, we did send us an email from where you are. I mean, we got 50 countries.
Oh, yeah.
And because they listen to podcasts to hear about the NBA, an American podcast like ours, because that's the NBA news that they get. Right? Outside of the internet, if they want to hear about the NBA, it's not on their local TV. It's not on. They don't have local podcasts, and on local radio, they're talking about soccer, or they're talking about whatever else they might have going on. And so it is truly a global game, and I do think that putting Memphis and that jersey and our city and John Morant on a stage that big is an opportunity that is very, very difficult, if not impossible, to pass up.
That's my sentiment. And like, you see the videos we've seen of Ja overseas in the past couple of weeks. Like, he looks like Justin Bieber walking through the streets, or Beyonce walking through the streets, and that will be multiplied when he goes back to Europe in January. And a little bit apples to oranges, but...
Well, and by the way, Gary, like, you didn't see the John Morant video in Memphis.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I made this point to Bennett yesterday.
Like, did you see that? I mean, he's mic'd up, and he's Nike's global.
Yes.
So is the NBA.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And so, a little bit apples to oranges, but similar to the way the NBA would come to your hometown once a year when you were a kid, the PGA Tour comes to our city once a year. Now, I know that's the way the PGA Tour works, but you'll get the point. Coincidentally, the other night, we happened, when we got back from vacation, watch Happy Gilmore 2.
Yep.
And then immediately after, watch the season finale of this show called Stick on Apple TV Plus, starring Owen Wilson.
So I never got into it.
It gets fine. It gets good enough to watch.
You liked it?
I liked it.
Okay, so I got bullied out of that by Rotten Tomatoes. And IMDb and whatever, because I obviously I love golf and I love Owen Wilson. Yeah, but it had like a 60-something, and I was like, oh shoot, I don't want to be mad about it.
Through the first, let's say, half of the series, I was like, it's just good enough to watch. Not great, but it's good enough to watch. Okay. By the end, I was like, oh, this is kind of sweet, and there's some like real messages in here and stuff. And
so it's worth watching.
I think so.
Okay.
So, but here's my point. In Happy Gilmore 2, we're watching it, and Colin Morikawa pops up on the screen, and my little guys are like, oh, this Colin, like, they know him because he took time at Southwind to sign their autograph and talk to them, just say hello, even after a horrific round. But he took 15 seconds with them.
Yep.
And they remember that. They have the autograph ball and the autograph hat. And then we turned on Stick, and he was in that as well.
Oh, wow.
He's like winning the tournament that they're playing in. And so they got to see him. And now, of course, they're looking forward to going back out to Southwind for the tournament. And yeah, they want to see Scotty Scheffler. But Colin Morikawa is a massive deal to them. Because,
it's actually
he touched them, because he was up close with them. And there will be kids just like that with Ja, with Jaron, with various Grizzlies, and they'll have that memory forever.
You know what? It's funny you say that, because there will inevitably going to come a time about a week and a half from now when that tournament's in Memphis, and I am going to ask the kids if they want to go, and they are immediately going to say yes. And my daughter will be the most excited, because we set up at a hole, and she would, after they were done playing the hole, it was one of those where they've got the rope set up to walk to the next hole like they do on everything. Right. She would run up to the rope, and they would either give her high fives or they would throw her the ball.
Right.
And so she collected, I think she's got like 3,
right,
that she got from the last time. And so, but her memory is, this is awesome because I got to high five golfers. And by the way, the golfers that like threw her the ball, it wasn't like Scotty Scheffler threw her the ball. Yeah. It was Matt Fitzpatrick.
That's right.
And it was Sam Burns, and it was like it was those guys.
That resonates with kids, man.
Absolutely.
Like, I remember, you'll remember this name, Nobody else will. But just like you would have NBA games in St. Louis once a year, we would have exhibition MLB games at Tim McCarver Stadium. And the year after, I believe the Royals won the '85 World Series, they brought the Royals and Cardinals to Tim McCarver Stadium for an exhibition right before the season. And I got an autograph from Tito Landrum.
Wow.
I'll never forget Tito Landrum.
I've got one better.
I'll never forget Tito Landrum.
I've got one better.
Right.
I have a baseball glove that has been transferred from houses to houses. Right? It was my youth baseball glove. I still never threw it away. And if you were to look on the end, my dad used to take me to Cardinals games early so that I could run up and try to get autographs. It is signed by Neftali Perez from the Colorado Rockies. He was the only guy that stopped, and he signed my glove on the side. Neftali Perez.
You'll never forget
like a star.
Yeah, and I have a few of these. When I was in high school or around that age, go see the Mets in St. Louis. And we were sitting right by the Mets bullpen, and John Franco was warming up.
Yep.
And he saw I had a Mets hat on, and he never got in the game. He was warming up, and then they got out of it. And as soon as the game was over, he looked up at me, and he was like, and I threw it down to him, and he signed it and threw it back up to me. And I love John Franco forever.
Of course.
And so when I was decorating my home studio and I was buying some Mets bobbleheads, one of the one I sought to buy is it's John Franco. I got a John Franco bobblehead behind me because I have that memory. My middle guy got to spend time with Curtis Granderson at a Mets game several years ago. He has that memory of Curtis. So getting up close and touching and being around these professional athletes, it can have a real lasting impact on you. And John, Jaron, and the rest of this franchise, they're going to be exposed to people in that way, and it will have meaningful effects down the road. It just will.
Absolutely. And the other thing I will say is, look, I never want to be trite about any of this stuff. Bro, we have not had the Martin Luther King Day game before.
That's right. But also remember, that was not popular either.
It wasn't,
right.
But time moves on.
Yeah.
What was you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It wasn't popular.
Right.
Everybody was mad about that. I was mad about it too.
Right.
It's what are you talking about? This is our day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I do think that there will be, again, you're getting right back to it in 2027.
Right.
And
we've had 22 of them. Hopefully we'll have 22 more. But we're going to do this year. I don't think that, I understand the decision. I understand the frustration.
Yes.
But I understand, and even if I'm being honest, I co-signed the decision. This is what I would do.
Again, when the NBA presents you with this opportunity, and it is a rare opportunity, to get to do this, and it is going to put your brand and this city on a global stage. It is. And you can tell the NBA is so behind this.
Right.
You saw it this morning with all the announcements and all the videos and all the everything. It's a big deal.
Here's to just illustrate that point. If the Grizzlies had announced this morning that they're playing the Orlando Magic on MLK Day, it would not be a headline anywhere other than Daily Memphian and Commercial Appeal.
Correct.
Right now, it's the second leading headline at CBSSports.com.
Right.
Number one is Dolphins to play with all new secondary after cornerback season-ending injury. Big NFL headline.
Mm-hmm.
Second headline, NBA hitting Berlin, London in 2025-26 season. We'll play in Paris in the future. This is a big deal. This is getting attention on our franchise, our city, our players. It just is.
Yeah. And obviously this is the Ja Morant World Tour continues.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because, he has been we have seen him now, started in Augusta, Georgia.
And I was there,
and
just you walk into the Riverview Parks Activity Center where Peach Jam is being held. Every college coach is in there. Most elite players are in there. And you don't run into, first thing you see, it's not LeBron James.
Right.
It's not Kevin Durant. It was Ja. It was Ja everywhere.
Yeah.
It was Ja everywhere.
And then it'll be, and then he went to New York, and then he went to Tokyo, and I guess he's in Shanghai now, and he's going to Manila, Philippines. It's unbelievable.
Right.
Unbelievable.
And just on that, and we'll transition here, because I never want to overstate it, but this meant something to me. I talked about it a little bit yesterday. I think it's good for him to feel that, be out in the world. Of
course it is. Because he looks happier than he's looked since year 2.
He looks happy, and I think because you're probably not in your phone nearly as much and actually around people more than you've been in a while.
Yes.
And you get to feel like this is the way these people actually feel about me. My phone's filled with memes and jokes.
Well, and
this is the real world.
And I've always said that this is his story to me has been much more a story of fame than anything else. And I think that you find this to be true of a lot of famous people is the runaway is just to be isolated.
Yeah.
And that leads to that.
I have firmly believed for a while he got too famous too quick.
Of course
it happened too.
Everybody, and that is true of all manner of movie stars or influencers, or you think about all of it, right? And then we build you up to tear you down, and then we want the comeback.
Yeah.
That's what happens to all of them.
Yeah, and hopefully this is the comeback.
Honestly, like very rarely is there not some level of controversy or some kind of reason that everybody starts hating somebody, and then they want to love them again.
Right. And so here we are.
This is the comeback tour. This is why he posted the Undertaker meme, rising up.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad
he knows.
I'm glad he's getting to feel that.
Yes.
Because I could have told him, and I think most people could have, your phone's not the real world. No. The real, but he can't be out in the real world all the time.
Time heals.
Of course.
Time heals.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
Like, I mean, there's a new thing to joke about that isn't,
that's right.
The memes.
That's right. Real quick, before I get you out of here, headline I saw NBA, Jonathan Kuminga still declining Warriors offers. How does that whole thing end up?
I think they are going to desperately try to find a sign and trade somewhere. That's the only way. I mean, that die was cast when he didn't get in the Houston series.
Yes.
Right? And I think that, there's like 4 guys that are in a terrible spot right now, right? Kuminga, Giddey, Cam Thomas at the Nets, and then to a lesser extent, Quentin Grimes, who is probably the best shooting guard.
And when you say that, is it because, I don't mean to oversimplify it, but like there's no way to get that middle money anymore?
No, there's no way to. No, they can get the middle money. They want the big money, and nobody has the big money.
That's right.
Right? And if you're a restricted free agent, as we always say, life is leverage.
Right.
They have no leverage. Right?
There's nowhere for you to go.
They want at least the first 3 that I named, save Grimes, okay? So we're talking Kuminga, Giddey, Cam Thomas. All of them fancy themselves as getting the same contract that Jalen Johnson with Atlanta got, which is 5 years, 100 and, it's 5 years, 130 million, 100 and, what was it? 550? Yeah, it's 30 a year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
30,
but 30 a year is the middle contract in today's NBA. But you get the point.
But so Giddey's being offered, by all accounts, about 20.
Yeah.
And Cam Thomas is being offered 14.
Right.
Right? And Kuminga is being offered more like the Cam Thomas range.
It's
right?
5,150 for Jalen Johnson.
Right, okay. And that's what they want.
Right.
None of them are $30 million players.
Right.
But there's no offer sheet you can go sign to force your team to do it. And Kuminga is in a different spot than maybe the other 2, right? And the other thing is you're in a tough spot because your other option is take the qualifying offer, play it out, become unrestricted next summer. Well, unless the case of Giddey, but more the other 2, Kuminga and Cam Thomas, bro, they will absolutely screw your minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You take, I guarantee you, Cam Thomas tries to play it out on a qualifying offer, you watch his minutes and watch what happens because they're going to say, no, we need to develop for the future. We need to play the young guys. We need to play Igor. We need to play this guy. We need to play that guy, right? And so you're not going to end up with that. I think that in your mind, you go, I'll play that qualifying offer and I'll go average 28. Bro, you ain't going to get a chance to average 28, right? They're not going to let you. Kuminga, same deal, right?
They've already
screwed you.
Yes.
Right.
They've already screwed up your money.
Right.
So he's trying to find a way, and I guess the Kings are probably the most likely because they've said the Kings and the Suns were 2 of the teams that have at least showed interest in a possible sign and trade, but that the Warriors want a first-round pick back in the deal. Suns don't have that. Obviously, we've got the Suns one, and then the Kings do, but the Kings want to give up like some kind of collection of Dario Saric and Devin Carter and that crew, and they kind of if the Warriors want to do that deal, then they want a Keegan Bradley or they want a Keon Ellis or they want one of those guys. So I guess I would be surprised. I'd be shocked if Kuminga is wearing a Warriors uniform next year. And so I'm unsurprised that he is turning down their deals. He fancies himself as a player that should be playing a lot more.
Right.
He probably should be playing more, right? There's somewhere in the middle. What Jonathan Kuminga thinks he is what he actually is,
and then what
Steve
Kerr
thinks of him, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's probably something in the middle, but I think it stands to reason. This was the absolute worst year to be a restricted free agent if your team is not all in on you. Right? And guys like Cam Thomas should just take the $14 million because guys like that don't get paid.
Right.
You aren't what? Like, look at what Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford, Jordan Clarkson, what all those guys got paid over the course of their career. It's not valued as much. You're a bench heater.
Right.
You're not starting for anybody good ever.
Like I saw Zach Lowe say something along those lines, and he popped back off at Zach Lowe. Do you see that one?
Cam Johnson? What'd he do? Or Cam Thomas? What'd he do?
It was like, he quote tweeted Zach Lowe with like, F you, Zach Lowe. Because Zach Lowe was like, I'm talking around the league, and I just don't know where there's a market for Cam Thomas. And Cam Thomas like quote tweeting it like, F you, Zach Lowe.
Yeah. There isn't.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you like 24 points a game on a team that loses every single night not.
That's not.
No, you are. And he is. Right. He's an outstanding scorer. He's a bench heater.
Yeah.
Right? That's what he is.
Right.
And those guys do have value, but not that much.
Not that much.
Look what we just gave Ty Jerome.
Right.
He was second in the league in Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah.
By the way, the Sixth Man of the Year, Peyton Pritchard. Go look at what his contract is.
Right.
These guys don't even get paid $10 million a year.
Right.
Bro, take your 14.
Take your 14 and get out of here. That's Chris Vernon, host of the Chris Vernon Show. He'll be in the big studio at noon. Thank you. Sincere Parker, Memphis guard, was back in court yesterday. Jason Munn's commercial appeal talked to his attorney. I'll tell you what he said next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
It's time for our Pick Six, Mike. 6 classics that we're most looking forward to in the 2025 football season.
Las Vegas, obviously, that's the Grambling State University, Jackson State University clash. They're taking 2 iconic HBCU brands going to an NFL stadium in Las Vegas.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
You've seen the Grizz line jamming on the court and rocking out on Beale Street, and this is your chance to join the best drum line in the NBA. Grizz line entertains Grizz Nation at home games and events in the Mid-South through their impressive techniques and energetic shows. If you have experience in drumming and marching and love entertaining, Grizz line is the perfect opportunity for you to combine percussion and performance. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Sign up today by visiting grizzlies.com/auditions.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
You get to the main event. And you hear the crowd. There's some rumblings in the crowd.
Here we go.
They say, "We want truth."
I love how John Cena said when they were chanting, "We want truth." You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
I loved it.
He takes me off, boom. Takes the mask off, boom. And it's our freaking truth. God, man, he cost John Cena the match.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either, and that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in.
And Ortho South to take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Sincere Parker, the Memphis basketball player who transferred into the program from McNeese, was back in court downtown yesterday morning after he has been charged following an alleged incident with an ex-girlfriend. His attorney talked to Jason Munz of the Commercial Appeal and said, as far as he knows, understands at least, that Sincere Parker is going to remain a member of the Tiger basketball program as this case unfolds, and that he has been working out with the Tigers after being released from jail in recent weeks. Big Bet, what do you make of all this?
I mean, I think it seems like some new things came to light. I saw the quote about him saying that she was the primary aggressor in this situation.
That is according to Sincere Parker's attorney.
Yes, and they think that will come to light through this process. I mean, I still, though, regardless of what I was said yesterday, it's hard to, until this thing is resolved, it's where I sit on it, it's hard for me to envision him playing a game for the University of Memphis until this whole situation gets resolved in some way.
I'm not sure of that.
Really?
Now we can have a conversation.
I'm just saying, as a Memphis fan, I'm not counting on him. I don't feel super optimistic about the whole situation.
Well, if you listen to the attorney and you take the attorney at his word, there is reason to believe that Sincere Parker will play for the University of Memphis before this case is resolved, because the next hearing is until September. They do not believe this is going.
First, I think. Yeah.
They do not believe this is going to be resolved before the season starts. And according to the attorney right now, Sincere Parker remains a member of the Memphis basketball program, has been inside the practice facility, and is going to be given on some level the benefit of the doubt by the university as he continues to maintain his innocence. And I'd like to have something strong to say about this, but it's such a complicated situation that I don't know that I'm comfortable screaming and yelling in either direction about it, because the details are scarce right now.
Yep.
And though it is undeniable that Sincere Parker has been charged with aggravated assault and vandalism, what is also true, and I want to be clear, what I'm telling you is true. I'm not saying what the attorney's telling us is true. I'm telling you what I'm telling you is true. According to the attorney said he believes they're going to be able to show that the woman here was the primary aggressor, and Sincere Parker was more than anything else trying to diffuse a situation and remove somebody from his home who was vandalizing his home. So we're going to have a he said, she said situation. And I don't know what to do with that. I can tell you what some other universities would do with it. They would have a policy in place that says when you're charged with this type of crime, you do not represent the university anymore. We'll figure out down the road whether you're ultimately found guilty or not guilty of this crime. But in the meantime, you're not allowed to represent us. There are university athletic departments that have that policy in place.
We've seen that
on the books.
Yes.
Most famously in recent years, it happened at Illinois. And I've talked about that from every angle, and for whatever reason, some fans can't quite understand the point I was actually making about that. Terrence Shannon, who was an All-American level guard at Illinois, was charged with sexual assault. And Illinois is one of the athletic departments in the country that had a policy in place. Like, if a student athlete is charged with this type of crime, they do not really removed from competition. They do not represent us. Like, just like there's nothing to argue about, which, by the way, is precisely why some universities put these policies in place, because they don't want to get it into a gray area where, okay, our walk-on was charged with a serious crime. Well, suspend him. Detach him from the team. Our All-American best player was charged with a serious crime. Well, he says he didn't do it. Can't we believe him and just let him play? It gets into a messy situation where even well-intentioned people can compromise themselves. And so among the reasons a university might put a policy like this in place is to just make it cut and dry. If a person is charged with this type of crime, innocent or guilty, we'll figure out later. But if you are actually charged with this type of crime, you do not represent us, period. You could be our best player or a worst player or anybody in between. Illinois had this type of policy in place. So the second or the minute or the day that Terrence Shannon was charged with a serious crime, they implemented their policy and he was detached from the team, no longer going to play, represent them. Well, then they reversed course on that. They more or less used a judge's ruling to rationalize removing their policy from the situation, and they allowed Terrence Shannon to finish the season. Now, I want to be clear, he was ultimately found not guilty, and based on the evidence that came out at the trial, it certainly appears that he was not guilty, or at least there is no scenario where a jury should have convicted him of what he was charged with. If I were on the jury, I would have voted not guilty. My issue was never about whether Terrence Shannon was guilty or not guilty. I don't think I ever weighed in on that at all. My issue was with the university. You have a policy in place. Now, you can have a conversation about whether you respect your policy or not, or whether it's a good policy or not, or whether it punishes innocent people or not. Let's have all those conversations if you want to. But you have a policy in place, and you hid behind a judge's ruling to scrap your policy and put your All-American back on the court. I didn't think that was right. My point is this. Memphis appears to have no such policy. Other schools do.
Okay.
But Memphis does not appear to have a quick trigger policy on if you're charged with this crime, you're automatically suspended from all team activities. Apparently, that is not something that's in place at the University of Memphis. So they're not bound by that. This is really an athletic department, or perhaps even above that, an administration decision about Sincere Parker. So it comes down to, how do you feel about it? And I don't know how I feel about it. And here's why. As an alum, I would hate, let me be clear about this, for my university to be represented by somebody who assaulted a woman. All right? I would not like that. I would not be for that. On the other hand, you know what else I would hate? If a young man who really wasn't the aggressor, who really was just trying to diffuse a situation, who really was just trying to protect his own home and remove somebody from it who was doing the things that this attorney says the woman was doing, well, I would hate to see that young man have a season of college basketball robbed for him because he was obviously in a messy, toxic relationship, but not one where he was actually guilty of the crimes he's been accused of. That's not good either.
Mm.
And that happens all the time in college athletics. We talked about it last week. Chris Jones, who played at Melrose and then played at the University of Louisville. His college career ended with him suspended.
That's right.
Because he was charged with a very serious crime. Ultimately, those charges were either dropped or he was found not guilty. I don't remember, but he was never convicted of them. It didn't get him that year of eligibility back. It didn't get him those games back.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't get him those experiences back. That stinks. So this is a tough one for me. I'm glad I'm not the athletic director that has to make this decision, or the university president has to make this decision. I'm not interested in ripping away opportunities from somebody who might be innocent. And if you try to do that right now, that might be what you're doing.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I don't love the idea of playing somebody who has been accused.
Because what if he's found guilty, right? Yeah.
Then you were the school that allowed
Sure.
that guy to represent you up until the moment he was found guilty of something very, very serious. So it's a messy, ugly, complicated situation where I don't think there are any clear-cut answers. So we'll see where it goes from here. Mm-hmm. The good news, I guess, is that it's July 30th, and you don't have to make any real big decisions about whether he's going to represent you or not actually in uniform for several months now. And obviously this case, just like any other case, could take any sorts of twist and turn between now and then. But I think on this one, I'm just sort of interested in taking a wait-and-see approach. You know, it's not like they got a game tonight, so we don't have to figure it out by tonight. But they will have to figure it out at some point. Mm-hmm. They will have to make a decision at some point. So far, we're really getting most of our public commentary from Sincere Parker's attorney, not from the University of Memphis. But according to the attorney right now, he's still a member of the program, has still been working out, and the plan is for him to continue to do so. As always, we'll see. But the best case scenario, I think, would be if we could just somehow avoid all of these altogether. Like never even end up in this situation. But here we are, and it's messy, and I guess they'll figure it out before the season opener.
Number 2.
Big headline, Big Bet Bennett announced yesterday, AutoZone Park is headed for $55 million in renovations. There's also going to be a mixed-use development around the park just to upgrade everything around our downtown ballpark and hopefully make it what it used to be once again. And what it used to be at one point was widely regarded as one of the great minor league parks in the United States. It has slipped over the years, as things tend to do, but here's a reinvestment by the city of Memphis to try to get it back to a good place. Do you endorse it?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is great news because, I guess it was a couple years ago now when we found out that the state was going to give the city all this money to invest in their sports facilities,
That's right.
and a lot of it was going to go to FedEx Forum, a lot of it was going to go to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, and it became evident pretty quickly that there wasn't going to be much, if any at all, for AutoZone Park, and then for a potential soccer stadium, and so 901 FC leaves.
To put it in real world terms,
Yeah.
Think about you got 4 kids. You're driving through McDonald's and they all want Happy Meals, but you only got enough money to buy 2 Happy Meals.
Yep.
You bought your Happy Meal for FedEx Forum. You bought your Happy Meal for Simmons Bank, and the other 2, you didn't have Happy Meals for them. That's
Yep.
sort of where we were.
And so when 901 FC announced that they were leaving, it was either the Redbirds or AutoZone Park that put out the statement saying, hey, we have to upgrade this thing in some aspects because it's just not, it's falling apart, and like we need to upgrade some of the facilities in here, or who knows, like the longevity of the Redbirds in Memphis. And I thought that was concerning. Like, I know it's minor league baseball. I know that like attendance probably isn't as good as it has been in the past.
Well, that's definitely true. Let me stop you there. It's obviously not as good as it's been in the past. Do you know how not good it is? Last in AAA.
Okay.
At least it was, to be clear, 2 seasons ago, which is the latest information I could find. In the 2023, so I guess it'd be 3 seasons ago. So 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
2023 season, the Redbirds, according to documents I'm looking at, I finished last in AAA in attendance with an average of 3,065.
Okay. So my whole thoughts on that is, that's something you try to get back. Regardless of that, I think it would be a travesty for a giant empty ballpark to be sitting in downtown Memphis.
I agree.
That no one occupies. I think that it would be ugly. It would be a bad look for downtown Memphis. It just would. Keep in mind, once upon a time, the Memphis Grizzlies franchise was moved here in part because Michael Heisley came here and saw how awesome AutoZone Park was, and how much Memphis enjoyed it, how beautiful it was, and that opened his eyes to what was possible here.
Will Memphians enjoy AutoZone Park again? Even with $55 million invested into it.
So I think it's entirely
Is it still a thing?
possible.
When's the last time you went?
I can't remember. But that's a good point, and it's on me.
You ready for this?
I need to take my kid to a Redbirds game.
Okay, fine. I can say it's on me too, but you ready for this? I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Uh-huh.
They have been to Citi Field, Truist Park, Globe Life Field, Busch Stadium, tons of major league stadiums. I don't think they've ever been to AutoZone Park. I don't think my 11-year-old has ever been to AutoZone Park. Maybe let me be clear. They've been there for 901 FC.
Yeah.
They've been there for soccer games.
Yep.
I don't know that my 2 youngest boys, and I'm certain with my 8-year-old, has never been to a Redbirds game. Now, you can say that's on me, but let me flip it around and ask you the question. There was a time where I used to go to Redbirds games.
Mm-hmm.
That would be something me and my friends would do when I was in my early 20s. Hey, let's go to a Redbirds game.
Yeah.
Then we're going to go to Alfred's. Then we're going to see where the night takes us. But these are things we do. We don't do them anymore.
Yeah.
And you can't say, well, yeah, because now you grew up, because I should be doing it more than I was doing it when I was 23, because now I got kids to take to the ballpark. But we don't do it. Do people do it? Will people do it?
Well, I mean, I think too, like there's a little bit bigger competition. You have Grizzlies and Tigers games happening. that wasn't. They didn't have that kind of competition when they first started, and people were going to that ballpark, right?
Yeah, but I mean, Tigers have been here forever, and Grizzlies have been here for a long time now.
That's true. Right. I think
here's my thing. It's a beautiful summer night in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yep.
How many people want to go to the Redbirds game tonight?
I think minor league baseball is never going to be some massive draw. It's just not.
But it used to be a bigger draw than it is.
It did used to be a bigger draw than it is. Now, I thought one of the interesting lines was the mixed use development. And I'll be interesting to see if they just get more creative with the things that they do there.
What could they do? What could they do to make me want to go?
Concerts.
Yeah.
Concerts.
Yeah.
One of my favorite concerts I ever went to was that Bob Dylan My Morning Jacket Wilco show, and that was at AutoZone Park. I can't remember. I think they did a concert not too long ago. I think they had Miranda Lambert there or something.
I think I remember that.
Not that long ago, and I don't know how well it did, but I think that is something that they could definitely explore.
But
I know
but my question is more specific. We're going to spend $55 million on AutoZone Park. And let me be clear, I'm not saying we shouldn't. In fact, I think we should because, like you, I think it'd be tough to see what was once a beautiful ballpark sitting in downtown empty and not so beautiful anymore. That would just sort of hammer home a lot of the other things that we've lost in recent years, and I'm not for that.
Yeah.
My question is got nothing to do with whether or not this money should be invested, and whether we should try to revamp AutoZone Park, in part to keep the Cardinals AAA franchise here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not debating any of that. I'm just saying, does it matter? Will we ever look up and remember what AutoZone Park looked like when you actually used to go and have a good time? Will you ever go to a random regular season game again and it feel that way, the way it used to feel?
Let me see what these renovations look like.
We'll see. Yeah.
I mean, I'm literally going to. Now, listen, I'm a huge Memphis football fan, so I'm going to go to games anyways. I want to be at the first game to see what the stadium looks like when the season starts this season. Yeah. I just want to see how different it is, Yeah. So I think that matters. I think that matters. Just giving people a reason, some kind of reason. Look what we're doing. We got a new team store, or we got all new concessions, or whatever. We got a new kids center, or something just a reason.
You know what I think? Here's what I think. I think that once upon a time, the Redbirds were the best thing we had. And when you bring an NBA franchise into the city, it becomes more challenging to get people excited about minor league anything. And suddenly it's why do I want to go to a minor league baseball game when I can go to a NBA game, a mile away? Different time of the year, obviously. But it just, once you have big league stuff, it makes minor league stuff feel less important, feel like it matters less. And when you combine that with a stadium not deteriorating, but, taking hits over the years the way your house will take hits over the years if you don't take proper care of it, it just becomes a less appealing place to be, a less interesting thing to do. And I think you're seeing that show up in the attendance. Again, in 2023, dead last in AAA, only averaging around 3,000 per game. So I'd love to be wrong about this. I'm just skeptical that it'll ever matter the way it once mattered here, for a variety of reasons. And so it doesn't mean you shouldn't invest in it and try to make it as good as you can make it and keep that AAA franchise here. But I think sometimes you hear things like this and you go, "Oh wow, AutoZone Park will be back," and I'm less sure of that. I'm less sure of that than I'd like to be.
Number 3.
Ronald Acuna Jr., the Atlanta Braves star, was removed from last night's loss at Kansas City with tightness in his right Achilles tendon, and he has been placed on a 10-day injured list, and could obviously be out even longer than that. Said he felt something first on Monday night, then again on Tuesday night, and now imaging is scheduled for today. But I think we learned this from the NBA playoffs. You just don't mess with this, do you?
No, you're out of it.
You're out of it. Anyway.
Yeah,
They're 13 games out of the wild card.
That's right. Yeah, you just it is what it is.
Like I'll let them make their own decisions. But if he didn't play again the rest of the season, I would almost, as if I were a Braves fan, be like, I'd rather that than him come back, feel anything ever, and then boom, ruptured Achilles, and then you don't have him at all for 2026.
Right.
Like, what do you want? What are you doing that for?
No, it's it reminds me of like the Grizzlies injury riddled season when they were. Some of the stars might have
like you can come back, but should you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's just no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this guy is one of the big names in the league now.
Superstar.
Yeah, he is a superstar.
There is
you don't
nothing.
Mess with that.
Listen. If the doctors sign off on it and they say he's 100%, there's no exaggerated risk of anything by him playing. Like not even 0.5% additional risk of Ronald Acuna playing under these circumstances exist. Then play him. What do I care?
Right.
But if it's like, do you feel anything? Is it tight? Is it uncomfortable? Is it just anything abnormal? Don't play. Don't play. There is nothing he can do, as awesome as he is, to get you back into contention this year. But you know what he could do by playing? He could remove you from contention next year.
Yeah.
At least in theory, because you wouldn't want to lose one of your best players, and by extension, one of the best players in the world. If I'm a Braves fan, I just don't want any part of that. So would I love Ronald Acuna Jr. to play every game the rest of the season in a vacuum? Of course. He's awesome to watch, fun to watch. But not under these circumstances. If your Achilles is hurting, ask Dame what you should do. Ask Jason Tatum what you should do. Ask Tyrese Halliburton what you should do. If that Achilles is hurting even just a little bit, you come sit down over here, and if we got to just get ready for 2026, we'll get ready for 2026.
Number 4.
Wild scene in the WNBA last night.
What's going on?
Oh, buddy. What isn't going on? What isn't going on? So Golden State and Atlanta were playing down in College Park, Georgia. And at some point, right in the middle of the game, somebody decided to throw something onto the court. It came out of the stand. Somebody decided to throw something on the court. You see this sometimes at sporting events. People throw like a
water bottle.
Water bottle is a good one. I want to say once upon a time, they were throwing maybe batteries at Lane Kiffin somewhere. Somebody
yeah, that's right.
Feels like somebody maybe threw a mustard bottle.
A mustard bottle,
at
yes.
Lane Kiffin. So
yes.
you see all sorts of stuff.
That was in Knoxville.
You get all sorts of stuff thrown onto courts and fields. And
sometimes it's nice. Like in hockey, they throw the teddy bears.
Or even didn't they throw fish or octopuses? What do you say that? I'm not even gonna try to say it.
I know they threw fish.
Yeah.
I knew that they did throw the fish. Was that in Nashville that they did that?
I mean, I think you can do it a lot of places.
Yeah.
So a lot of things can get thrown on, but they decided we took it to a new level last night down in College Park, Georgia.
What happened?
First off, I'm gonna tell you what happened. All right. Somebody threw a sex toy onto the court.
What kind of sex toy?
Bennett. A green kind.
That could go. I mean, that could be a lot of things. That could be a lot of things.
It was a green ding-a-ling. And I think ding-a-ling is the most appropriate word I can use here.
Ding-a-ling.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. A green ding-a-ling.
You can close your eyes and see it.
I got it.
You want to ask Kyra? She wants to show it to you?
Do we have the video?
I think the video's everywhere. The question becomes, is it appropriate for us to throw a green ding-a-ling onto the television?
I'm gonna say Kyra's gonna say no, that is inappropriate.
You know what? We're gonna leave it up to Kyra as the woman voice on the show. We're gonna leave this one up to Kyra. Kyra, you make the call. She says no.
Pass.
She says no. Okay. We're not going to put a green ding-a-ling on the television. But just know that they threw a green ding-a-ling right onto the court in the middle of a WNBA game last night.
The reaction was, I'm sorry, hilarious. Because if you listen to the commentary on the video, they're like, it's very like happy-go-lucky. It's like, somebody threw an object onto the court. What happened? And then there's the camera zooms in, and immediately it gets super serious. Like, that's not appropriate. They should be ejected.
They zoomed out just as quick as they could zoom in. You ever watch those high-speed chases?
Yes.
And the helicopters, they got those cameras. And, I love them. Man, I can't get enough of the high-speed chases, particularly the ones
I love the high-speed chases, too.
There is nothing that gets me.
Why are they always in LA?
It's wild out there.
And it's kind of crazy because you can't even move in LA traffic. You just sit there. I don't even know how they do it.
It's not the place where I would want to get into a high-speed chase with cops.
Yeah, you're not getting anywhere.
Because like I've been on those interstates out in LA.
Yeah.
And you just stop for no reason. You don't even know why.
Right.
It's like I just been sitting here for 2 hours. I don't even know why. Right. So it's not where I would try to get into a high-speed chase with officers, but it happens all the time. And man, I love it.
Oh, it's so good.
Man, you can't, buddy, 9:45 at night, suddenly Worldwide Wob tweets out a link to a high-speed chase. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in till the end. I love it.
And I'm always rooting for the cops, like, because my favorite part of them is seeing like a really good tackle at the end. Like, I love the good tackle at the end because you could tell like the cops pissed that they got to get out of their car and chase this person.
Of course,
you know what I mean.
Cops don't wanna run.
And so I'm rooting for them to get like the good tackle in. Like some of them are nicer than others.
I've seen some good tackles,
but some of them are like, I'm about to pile drive this dude.
What I'm always rooting for is zero casualties outside of possibly the person running in the car. Like if you want to drive 130 through the interstate and running from cops and you happen to be in a single car accident that takes you from us, ain't my problem. All right?
Right.
But you take grandma and her grandson over here who just trying to go to Target, you take them out? I'm always rooting against that.
Yeah.
I think that goes without saying.
Yeah.
But I love to watch them. But you ever see this? This is my point. The helicopter's up there, and they got the helicopter pilot, and he's like, and yeah, we got them down here, and then now they're coming up on the 405, and they got it zoomed in on the car, and then every once in a while, it's be boom, and the car hits, and a buddy will get ejected out of the car, which is crazy, by the way, because the first thing you should do if you're running from the cops, I think, buckle your seatbelt.
Yeah, buckle your seatbelt.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, but I can't even get out of my neighborhood without my seatbelt buckle. And you're going 140 on the interstate?
Isn't that little thing beeping the whole time? Wouldn't that be annoying?
It would just be annoying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to focus on running from the cops. It's like beep, beep, beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep. So just lack of judgment. But, you could probably trace that back several steps. Buddy will get thrown right out of the car. And that helicopter cameraman, he'll zoom out real quick because you don't want to see somebody's head rolling down the interstate.
Right.
Unless you do.
I do.
I would.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know that I need to see it, but I would.
Yeah.
I would watch it. I don't know that I need to watch it, but I will watch it if it's available. But they know most people not like us, Most people ain't like you and I, Bennett. Most people don't want to see a head run around on the freeway, all right? So they zoom out real quick, right? And that's what that reminded me of last night.
Yes.
They were like, somebody threw an object on the court. Let's see if we can get a good look at it. Whoa, zoom out, zoom out. It's a green ding-a-ling.
Yeah.
What do you think about getting the color green? Do you have what color would you get?
First, I don't have a preference, if that's what you're about to say.
You don't have a preference?
No, I do not.
Would you be offended by green would green bother you in any way, startle you?
I don't think
if just
so.
you looked up and next thing you know, it's green and it's in the room with you.
So
how you acting? That's what I'm asking you.
I'm afraid. My question.
You'd be afraid.
My question.
I saw it. Didn't look intimidating. If I'm being honest, I saw it when they zoomed in on it, and I was not intimidated.
Okay. My big question is, and it was a big question, how did they get that thing in? Because obviously a metal detector is not going to detect that. It's rubber.
How you know so much about green dinglings?
Well, I mean, it looked like a rubber object.
It did look like a rubber
bouncing
object.
around.
It did bounce.
Yeah.
It did bounce. It seemed to have a rubber component to it. No question.
Because, so I guess you put it in your pocket or something.
I got an idea. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Put it in your underwear.
But then
I'd put it in my underwear.
Okay, but then
I'd be walking in. I'd be walking in the arena like I got a green ding-a-ling. I'd dare them to check.
You saw how big that thing was.
I wasn't intimidated, Bennett.
You saw how big that thing was.
I wasn't personally intimidated by it.
If you're walking through security and I don't think they could let you in.
They could. I just tell them, you don't know what I'm rocking. You don't know what I'm working with.
Dude.
They don't know. You don't know. You can't judge a man but just by looking at him, Bennett. I know you look at me and you make some assumptions about me, but you don't know nothing.
If that thing was in someone's pants walking into security, if I was a security guard, I would be like, arrest this pervert.
But what if I'm just rocking? What if I'm just rocking and rolling?
No one's...
You're trying to judge a book by its cover. I'm telling you, you can't judge a book by its cover.
And I'm telling you,
you're making assumptions about me.
And I'm telling you, no one's rocking and rolling like that unless they are what's the proper term?
People do rock and roll. People do rock and roll like that.
No.
Devin Booker does. I read it on the internet.
Dude, you couldn't conceal that thing, is what I'm saying. Someone missed the mark here. All right, that's what I'm getting to.
Do you think there's a failure in security at College Park?
Wouldn't you notice that walking in there?
Bennett, I am convinced. I've walked into a million arenas in a million different cities in my life. You ready for this? You ready me to tell you something? I am pretty certain I could take an actual bomb into an arena whenever I wanted to.
Okay, wow.
Have you ever seen them check your bags? You know, your media. Hey, open your bag. I think you could have a ticking bomb inside of it that said bomb on it, and they'd be like, all right, good to go.
No, they check my stuff.
They don't.
Yeah, they check my stuff.
They don't.
I always, it's the beard, like at the airport and stuff.
You're going to get checked.
I always get pulled out of line.
Checked.
I
would check you.
Every time I travel, they're like, sir, over here, please.
Of course. I would check you. But I'm saying I think I could get into an arena with a green ding-a-ling. I think I could.
Do you?
Yes. Yes, of course I do.
Okay.
I did see one time going through security, a woman had her carry-on bag.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And they flagged it, and they started going through it.
And it was like right
in the middle of security.
She left it right there on top of the luggage, didn't she?
I mean, they were like...
First thing they see when they open it.
Yeah, they pulled it out.
Yeah, you got to wrap that thing up in a T-shirt or something.
Or be proud. You know what? You don't have to be embarrassed. You be proud. It's 2000, whatever year it is.
Yeah, whatever.
I think I could get into an arena with a green ding-a-ling. I believe I could do that.
Okay.
How are we supposed to feel about this?
Inappropriate, like the broadcast said.
Yeah.
Inappropriate.
They didn't throw a green ding-a-ling on the field at an NBA game.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they didn't throw the person out. I was like, well, that seems...
I don't know if they found
him. There's cameras all over the arena. You couldn't find the person doing this with a giant green ding-a-ling? Like, you would think that you would be able to spot that pretty quickly.
I don't know. I never even tried.
Huh. Okay. Well, no, I inappropriate.
Inappropriate is what we've been trying to say. Wildly inappropriate behavior.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to tell you is, I think I could sneak one in. I've been through security enough.
Okay.
I think I could sneak one in.
All right.
And if you tried to question me, I would shame you for trying to judge a book by its cover.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to judge a book by its cover. I know what you see when you see me. I'm walking around 5'7.5". I know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
But you're trying to judge a book by its cover. I think I could get away with it, Bennett.
Okay. Good luck.
I would, but
give it a shot.
I will give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't throw it on the court because that part's inappropriate.
Yeah. Throwing anything on the court should get you ejected.
I think throwing anything on the court should get you ejected. So let's tighten up. Let's tighten up, WNBA fans. Was it a funny thing that happened? Did people seem to get their chuckles off last night? I saw people chuckling. But still, we're gonna land on the side of inappropriate.
Okay.
All right.
Number 5.
The numbers are now in, and guess what is the most viewed movie in the history of Netflix?
I'm gonna say K-pop Demon Hunters.
You cut me off. So let me ask again. What do you think is the most watched movie in the history of Netflix over the first 3 days? U.S. films only.
Oh, that wouldn't be K-pop Demon Hunters, would it? I'm going to say Happy Gilmore 2.
Happy Gilmore 2 is the answer. The numbers are in. First 3 days, 47 million viewers. Suck it, haters. Sucker green one, haters. Happy Gilmore 2, whether you like it or not, everybody's watching it. And that's the truth, right? Whether you like it or not.
Oh, yeah, everybody's watching it.
Whether you like it or not, everybody's watched it. And I feel like the pendulum is swinging back the other direction a little bit. Mm-hmm. Initially, it was like, let's all watch Happy Gilmore 2. Oh, this is the dumbest movie ever. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Now I think the pendulum is swinging back a little bit. I think the pendulum is swinging back a little bit. And people are saying, all right, it's kind of a ridiculous movie, sure, but it's less than 2 hours. And it's got a ton of cameos. And it was fun. And I smiled. I smiled while watching most of it. Did I get a little confused by some of it? A little bored by some of it? Sure. But I smiled multiple times. It was a familiar face, a bunch of familiar faces, and a perfectly reasonable way to spend less than 2 hours with your family. I think the pendulum is swung in that direction. That's what I co-sign at least.
Yeah, I think so too. No, this isn't surprising. It's a good time of year to put out a movie like this, first and foremost.
Why you say?
because there's just ain't a lot to watch right now.
Oh, we got Wars. You can watch Wars on TV
Well,
every
yeah,
night.
I'm saying if you want to watch like
Epstein Files, that's on every night.
I'm saying for like movies, TV, entertainment, stuff like that. There ain't a lot this time of year. So, yeah, I think the timing was really good for them, and yeah, the nostalgia. Like you're gonna get new people watching the most viewed movie on Netflix. Whatever's number one on Netflix, people just watch that no matter what, right? Just whatever it is. What's number one on Netflix? Okay, I'll turn it on. But then you get the nostalgia of the people that love the first movie coming to find it as well. So I get it.
You know what this is on some level? Do you know what the most watched boxing match was? The one involving Mike Tyson.
Jake Paul.
And Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
It was just available on Netflix.
Yep.
So you tap into, with a new generation, the Jake Paul stuff. And with people of my generation, it's like, oh, wow, so I can turn the TV on tonight and watch Mike Tyson?
Right.
I guess we're doing that. And then they have these outrageous numbers for that fight. It's sort of similar here. You got a whole generation of young people who are just going to watch whatever is on number one on Netflix. And then you got an entire generation older than that are like, well, I watched Happy Gilmore. I grew up on Adam Sandler. I loved Billy Madison and all of those films. And here's a new one, and it's got a character that is internationally known. We'll turn it on. That's the trick. Like that, I don't know that anything Adam Sandler does in the year 2025 is going to work like this. In fact, nothing has ever worked like this before. But this was always going to be exactly like this. This was always going to put numbers up like this for reasons we just explained. So congratulations to Adam Sandler. Congratulations to Happy Gilmore 2. And shame on all the haters. Whether it's critically acclaimed or not, people watched it. And I think largely, people liked it. Maybe not going to nominate it for Film of the Year.
Right.
But had an enjoyable time watching Adam Sandler be Happy Gilmore for 2 more hours. Be back with GP's Carryout.
What is the biggest Summer League accomplishment so far for this Grizzlies team?
Tuomas Isalo filling out his coaching staff. The Ryan Saunders hiring was essential. It was big time. You have a veteran NBA voice there.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Have you always dreamed of entertaining on the biggest stage in Memphis? The Claw Crew is looking for members to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. Claw Crew members are hardworking, high-energy entertainers who assist Grizzlies home games by hyping up the crowd and much more. Not only do they support the Grizzlies on home games, but also promote in Memphis and across the Mid-South. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information and to register today.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
RIP, the AAC. The American Athletic Conference is renaming itself the American Conference, and they come with a new mascot, and his name is Soar the Eagle.
Soar opens his mouth and I'm proud to be American starts playing.
The American.
Proud to be the American.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Show presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
Whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on the big Grizzlies scheduling news of the day, and that's that the Grizz are going to play 2 games in Europe in January. First one will be against the Magic on January 15th inside Uber Arena in Berlin, Germany, and then 3 days later on January 18th, they will play again the Grizz and Magic in O2 Arena. That'll be in London. It'll be the first ever regular season NBA game in Berlin and the Grizzlies' first ever regular season international games. Obviously, it's not ideal because once you put both Grizz Magic games in Europe this season, that means Desmond Bane will not make his return to FedEx Forum until at least the 2026-27 campaign. And more importantly, it means that if the Grizzlies are playing in London on January 18th, they cannot play in downtown Memphis on January 19th. And January 19th, 2026 is, as you know, MLK Day. So for just the second time since 2003 and the third time in franchise history, we will not have a MLK game in downtown Memphis on MLK Day. And it stinks. Like, nobody's going to try to tell you otherwise. But, like I explained earlier, it seems pretty clear that this is a tough decision that had to be made in one direction or the other. Do you want to take your franchise and put it on the stage that London and Berlin can provide and grow that brand and the city of Memphis's brand and, the John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. brand? Do you want to do that? Or do you want to skip it, pass on that, and have a game inside FedEx Forum MLK Day like we have 22 times prior, at least in downtown Memphis, dating back to the days of the Pyramid? Reasonable minds can disagree what decision should be made there. This is not one of those where if you disagree with what I'm saying, I think you're stupid or an idiot or misguided or don't know what you're talking about. Reasonable minds can disagree on this. People in this building disagree on this. But I think if you're having to pick between one or the other, the right decision was made. I think the opportunity to take the Grizzlies brand, the Memphis brand, and the John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. brands to Europe, specifically to Berlin and London, is too much of a good thing to pass on. So I don't do it without hesitation. If I were in charge, I wouldn't do it without serious conversations if I were in charge. But if I were in charge, this is the decision that would have been made. So I know not everybody co-signs it, but I hope at least even those who are frustrated by it understand why big picture you can make a sensible argument that it's the intelligent thing to do.
What's today's biggest game?
I'm taking you back to the WNBA, Bennett.
Took an L last night.
Oh, buddy, did you ever?
Yeah.
Oh, Cameron Brink. She can't save the world.
No.
She got beat down pretty good last night. You know what? Tonight, I'm taking you to the Target Center in downtown Minneapolis, especially considering Caitlin Clark will once again be out for the Indiana Fever tonight. Fever Mercury, 6 o'clock on ESPN3. Caitlin Clark will not be in uniform. Liberty Link, 7 o'clock on ESPN. That is Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu on one side, Nafisa Collier, Courtney Williams on the other. The Timberwolves, or the Lynx rather, my apologies. The Lynx at home inside the Target Center, 7.5-point favorites. Total is 167.5. How you going to act?
Liberty have lost 2 in a row.
Yeah.
I think they really want this one.
You think they really want it?
I think it'll be tight. Yeah, Sabrina's not going to let them lose 3 in a row. Or at least not going down without swinging.
Bennett said if you're going to get Sabrina and Breanna plus 7.5 points, you got to take advantage of that. So Bennett says I hope everybody's playing. Are they all playing?
I think Sabrina is. I'm pretty sure that Breonna Stewart's out, or
Yeah.
at least she has been out recently.
That would make that number sound a little more reasonable.
Yeah.
So, hey, whoever's in uniform on both sides, Bennett says take the 7.5 points with the Liberty. Tip-off is 7 o'clock. You can watch it on ESPN.
What are we watching on TV?
Okay, Bennett. Okay. Let me tell you what happened last night.
What's up?
So, Mets are out in San Diego. 8:40 first pitch, something like that. So we turn that on, and, it's a fun game for a while, 1-1, and then the Padres take a 4-1 lead. And then Manny Machado, your old buddy, my God, he hit a 3-run homer. And so now it's like 7-1, and I said, all right, well, this thing's over. What do you want to do now? What should we do now? We went over to Netflix, and we're like, well, we already seen Happy Gilmore, too.
Mm-hmm.
Can't watch that again. I mean, you could, but they want to do that. So I said, you know what? At the risk of alienating myself from my family, because sometimes I feel like they're getting tired of wrestling, there's this new documentary that's dropped on Netflix called WWE Unreal.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
5-part documentary, dropped yesterday, and it basically takes you behind the scenes of WWE, more or less starting with the debut of Raw on Netflix, and it is expected to take you all the way through WrestleMania. And it was really interesting.
Really?
I mean, you might have to be a wrestling nerd to enjoy it, but my understanding is this is the first time something like this has been done to this degree. Let me read you the description, then we'll talk about it. WWE Unreal is a new 5-part docuseries premiered globally on Netflix. The series offers an unprecedented look into WWE's creative process, giving fans a behind-the-scenes view of storyline development from Monday Night Raw through WrestleMania 41. Produced in partnership with NFL Films, Skydance Sports, and Peyton Manning's Omaha Productions, WWE Unreal provides access to WWE's inner workings like never before. So, we only watched the first episode because at some point you got to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically, the first episode is Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, and CM Punk just sort of being themselves, not in character. And it's just a behind-the-scenes look at these people, because often when we see these people, they're always in character. You know, you don't really see Rhea Ripley being anything other than Rhea Ripley. CM Punk being anything other than CM Punk. But for these purposes, like CM Punk is talking as Phil. And Rhea Ripley is just talking like a young woman from, I believe, Australia. And think of it like this. If you watched a television show every week and all you ever saw was the television show and the actors being the characters that they're playing on the television show. Now there's a documentary about this television show with the actors no longer in character. They're just talking to you about their lives and their decisions and the behind the scenes workings of everything going on with the television show. That's what it is. And you see how these matches are orchestrated, how much input people off camera have. Like, did you know all of this stuff? I know people, I know people in the chat did, but like, there is somebody on a mic in the referee's ear the entire time. And they are talking to the referee the entire time and telling them, speed this up. We got to get going. Slow this down. Okay, you're in commercial break. Hey, tell Punk he's got to slow it down. And then you'll see the ref and it's like, hey, Phil, slow down. You know, like, and they're constantly communicating in that way. I guess I had known that on some level, but to see it actually happen, like they got cameras on all this stuff. Was pretty interesting to see how it all works. I was hesitant to show my kids because I don't
spoil it for them.
Yeah, but like from my perspective, it was kind of interesting. And then you see these people as real people. Like you see Rhea Ripley as she's getting ready to, face Liv Morgan at Raw on the Netflix debut, and she's like genuinely nervous, like almost having some sort of panic attack. And she's like, but when that music hits, I turn into Rhea Ripley and it's like all gone. But leading up to it, she's a wreck. And you see it, like CM Punk talks about like the same type of stuff. Like I am unsure and a wreck. But then when the red light comes on, it's like I just become something else. And I don't know, I found it interesting. It looks like every episode's going to be about an hour. There's 5 of them, so you got to get invested.
Yep.
But episode 1 it didn't bore me. So if you're a wrestling person, I think you'll probably like it. But this might be the type of thing that even if you don't follow wrestling or think it's stupid, you might like just the behind-the-scenes documentary aspect of it. So I'm sure it'll be number 1 or top 3 or very high on Netflix over the next week or so. But yeah, if you're looking for something to watch and you've already knocked out Happy Gilmore 2, seemed reasonable. We had a good time watching it last night.
What's the best thing we've read?
So over at ESPN.com right now on the homepage, they have identified the most valuable trade piece on every NFL team right now. For your Tennessee Titans, Bennett, who do you think that is?
The most valuable trade piece?
Like if there were no contract limitations and you could just say, hey, if somebody wants this person, make us an offer for this person. Who's the most valuable player on the Tennessee Titans?
Probably Jeffrey Simmons or T'Vondre Sweat, one of those two guys.
Simmons was second.
Who was one?
Cam Ward.
Yeah, okay. I mean, have they seen him practice the past couple of days? They might change their mind.
Cam Ward, number 1.
He ain't having a great few days here.
Cam Ward, number 1. Jeffrey Simmons, number 2. So, Cam Ward struggling?
Yeah, he's had a bad day today.
Well, it's a learning.
And yesterday.
It's a learning experience.
I know.
I saw Shadur was struggling a little bit as well. He was. I saw somebody. It's funny. It's not funny. I don't know what it is, but like how people just like to pick on certain people.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this before. It happens to Angel Reese now all the time.
Right.
I should not see every time Angel Reese misses a shot, but I do.
Yeah.
You know, somebody can't wait to show me that.
Right.
Every time, and it happens with Shadur a little bit too. Like, this is what I saw on Twitter. It just said it's something along the lines of, "Man, Shadur Sanders in camp, and you're just reminded nobody throws a tighter spiral than him." Like nobody. It's like the ball just leaves his hand, and I'm like, oh wow, let's watch this. And then you turn it, click it, and he's like, throwing a duck.
Throwing ducks, yeah.
People just, I don't know. We'll look into that and see why it is people like to do that all the time. But Cam Ward, I hope he gets I hope he gets everything back together.
Me too.
I hope he's everything
we
you
got
want
time,
him to be.
Cam.
Hey. So, number 1 most valuable person on the Kansas City Chiefs, you can guess who that is.
Patrick Mahomes, yeah.
Guess what ESPN says? If you wanted to make a reasonable offer for him, you would have to offer. Like if the Chiefs just decided, all right, we're out of if Nico Harrison decided to run the Kansas City Chiefs, all right, and he was like, I got to get out of this Patrick Mahomes business. I saw him on vacation, got a little bit of a dad bod. You know how much I don't like dad bods. I already got rid of Luka. I got to get rid of Patrick Mahomes now. ESPN says, how many first-round picks would it take to make a reasonable offer for Patrick Mahomes?
At least 3.
7.
Jesus.
They said 7 first-round picks.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Would be the reasonable offer for Patrick Mahomes. So it's on the homepage, ESPN.com. Go read it when you get time.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow will be Thursday, and Michael Wallace is going to join us.
Yep.
We'll talk all things NBA with him and Major League Baseball trade deadline as well. Perhaps there'll be some big developments, as always. We'll see. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. Let's meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.